The Self-Love Experience podcast is about self-care, self-improvement, and self-revelation so you can continuously evolve into your absolute best self and live the life you were destined to create. So if you know that there's more greatness inside of you, more of yourself to discover, more of yourself to love, then I urge you to join the self-love experience because we can't truly be good to others if we aren't good to ourselves. The Self-Love Experience podcast is sponsored by Amazon. If you enjoy our show and you want to continue to have us producing content for you for free, help us out. Anytime that you know that you're going to buy something from Amazon, you can always come to the show or to the website, click on the link, do your shopping, and a small percentage of that will go back to us to continue to give you self-love experience every week.
Have you ever heard the phrase, you are enough? And when you heard the phrase, you are enough, it resonated within your spirit. There's something inside of you that wants to agree with that statement, that wants to accept that statement as fact. But then there's something in you that just cannot believe that it's true. See, there's so many beautiful quotes and sayings that we could say as affirmations, that we can use as mirror work. But unless you truly believe that it is true in your core, it will just seem like another cliche, another thing to say. So I sent out an email to many of those that were on my mailing list and asked them if they really believed that they were enough. And I was not surprised to find that most people don't believe it. They say it, but they don't believe it. So on this episode of the Self-Love Experience, I want to make sure that I talk to you about the one thing that you need to unlearn to truly know, to truly believe, and to truly accept that it is not just fact, but it is truth that you are enough. So let's let the truth set you free.
As the weekend is approaching, I would love to know, what is it that you're looking forward to? Have you thought about something that you're going to do, some time that you're going to set aside for yourself to have your self-love experience, to have your me time, to have your self-care moment? I think for me this weekend, I'm planning to ride my bike. I have a Peloton now, and I've been neglecting my actual bike. So I think I'm going to spend some time outdoors since I'm in sunny California riding my bike. And that's just going to be one of my deliberate self-love experiences this weekend. Definitely not my only, but a deliberate time that I suggest we all take to love on ourselves. Another thing that I'm looking forward to this weekend, and it may seem weird, but Oprah's birthday is this weekend. It's on the 29th. And happy birthday to Oprah. And she has some really great things that she says about getting older and perspective and how to look at it. And just love everything that comes out her mouth. She inspires me and definitely inspires me to do what I do with this podcast and have this platform for all of us to learn, grow, evolve, and support one another. Speaking of Oprah, it reminds me of a story that I once heard her share. And I think at the same time, this insight, this aha moment that she shared with us has a lot to do what this episode is about. I really feel like if we can unlearn just one thing, we will begin to manifest and co-create the life that we desire, the life of our dreams. And we all deserve to live a dream life. You deserve to live your dream life. You have been called for such a time as this, and everything that you have is already with you. So let's go into this insight that I got from Oprah. So watching The Wizard of Oz, you know, the classic Wizard of Oz with Dorothy, and she's stuck in Oz and she's trying to get home. And the entire time while she meets these friends, they all have these desires. They all have things that they want whether it's to go home, whether it's for a brain or courage or a heart. And long story short, since majority of you, if not all, know the story, they have this belief that if they can just go and visit the wonderful Wizard of Oz, if they can just meet him and state their request for him, then all their problems will be solved. Well, it wasn't easy, but Dorothy, little Toto, and her friends finally made it to Oz and finally was able to see the wizard. And you know what? The wizard was not able to grant any of their requests. But when Glinda the Good Witch came to Dorothy after she was so sad, so humiliated, and without hope, she gave her the revelation that she could have gone home all alone. The scarecrow had his brain. He solved all the problems, had all the ideas. The Tin Man was so loving with his heart the entire time that he would rust out. And in the face of danger, the lion was the most courageous of them all. So you see, everything that they already desired was with them the entire time. They had the ability to fulfill their desires the entire time. But since they were told, since they believed, since they thought that they needed someone else to do it for them, it put them in the, well, one day, well, when I get to Oz, well, when we see the wizard, he's going to. And I think that's the limiting belief. I believe that's the paradigm that we all have that's keeping us stuck. So, one of the things that I want to talk about when it comes to you are enough is that being enough isn't perfection. Being enough is being happy with who we are today. Being enough is not going around thinking that you're perfect or even expecting to be perfect. Being enough is being happy with who you are today, happy with who you are right now. I don't know what it was, what type of concept or what type of thought happened when we entered this world and got exposed to the adults in our life that loved us and comforted us and protected us. But at the same time, we were exposed to unrealistic expectations, different thoughts and concepts, whether it was thoughts concerning religion, where you are trying your best to be holy, be acceptable. You're constantly trying to be perfect when you know that that never will happen, when you feel bad because you weren't able to live up to some type of standard or expectation. And then all of a sudden, those emotional experiences of feeling hurtful, feeling bad, feeling ashamed, feeling guilty, feeling depressed, having anxiety, being overwhelmed, become programmed into our mind. And then we develop the limiting belief with conviction that we are not enough. But there's something about when you hear the words that you are enough, if you go inside yourself, if you listen to that still small voice, there's something in your spirit, in your gut that wants to affirm, yes, that is true. Yes, you are enough. If you could get rid of the expectation that you must be perfect, if you get rid of the expectation that being enough is somehow getting everything right, when you realize that you are beautiful, that you are smart, that you are unique, and that you are your own individual self, and the reason why you're here is to be you and not to be anyone else, when you learn to focus on things that are good and not on what you wish was better and not on what you wanted to fix, but focus on the things that you actually like, I'm telling you that the world will just continue to show you more things that you actually like, that you actually enjoy, that you actually want to experience. And part of getting this understanding is not something that happens overnight. It's something that happens the more and more and more that you spend time with one another, accepting yourself for who you are, loving yourself and caring for yourself every step of the way, every day, and not putting any extra pressure or expectations that you have to perform a certain way, that you have to be a certain way. It is okay.
And when people, people say that, they walk around and they have shirts that say that they are enough, and they do mirror work saying that they are enough, which is all good. You have your affirmation saying, I am enough. Whatever follows the I am is what you are declaring over your life. It may not necessarily be what you believe over your life, but in due time, if you continue to focus and put yourself and put your mindset in that direction, the belief and the conviction will follow. I want you to think about some of the people, even if you could just make a list of your top 3 or your top 5 people that you admire. I'm sure that you will find in their biography, in their history, where they have had issues and challenges of coming to the terms that they are enough and believing that they are enough. And part of this just have to do with self-awareness and self-reflection and self-acceptance. If you can get to the point where you can accept yourself for who you are, can accept that a higher being, whether you want to call it the universe or God or infinite intelligence, has created you. And if you were created in the image of God, then you are enough. God did not create anything less than. God did not create you to not be good enough. What God has created, He has said yay and amen. And I feel that, and this may not be popular, but as long as we are in this helpless mentality of woe is me, oh pity me, oh God come help me, oh God come do this for me. Hey y'all, I need y'all to pray for me. Pray for me, y'all. Pray for me. Pray for me. I don't even spend time on my social media as much anymore because my whole news feed is pray for me, pray for me, pray for me. And yes, I don't have any problem praying for you, but with the Self Love Experience podcast, what I'm doing with this is that I really want you to know and be exposed to the concept that you can pray for yourself, that you can change your situation around yourself. That God has already given you the ability. God has already given you the strength. God has already given you the direction and the notion inside where you can co create with God to impact and to change your destiny. If you don't like where you are today, then start doing some things today so you can get a different result tomorrow. And because you are this powerful being that can do this, we are the only ones, humans are the only ones that can co create. We're the only ones that can think and process and have a thought and use it to our advantage or our disadvantage. On social media, maybe a month ago, maybe not even, they were doing a 10-year challenge. Not like we haven't seen these type of challenges before, where you post a picture and you show the 10-year difference. Well, it's not so much about how you look on the outer side, but let's do a 10-year challenge with who we are on the inside. Have we grown spiritually? Have we evolved in the area of our goals, dreams, aspirations? We know that the Lord has plans for us, plans to prosper us and to bless us. Have we seen those plans happen? We need to stop coming up with weird excuses like, oh, well, the Lord is just saving the best for last. See, He hasn't helped me yet because those who are so great just need a little bit more time. No, no one's really any greater than anyone else. It's about knowing how to use what you have, how to use and tap into what God has placed inside of you, and believing in that and following the laws that He has orchestrated and become what it is that you want now. You don't need to wait on anyone to do anything now. You may have the life that you want now. You can begin manifesting in your life now. You could be happy now, healthy now. You can have the loving relationship that you want now. All of these things can happen now. And in the event, while you are in that period of seed time and harvest, don't get me wrong, and that will be a whole nother episode. I'm always going to use the word now, and there's a whole nother reason behind that. But in this three-dimensional reality, there is a seed, time, and harvest. So when you plant that seed for your desire, you know that it's already there. It's already in the ground. It's going to come up. So during that time that you're waiting to actually see it, we walk by faith and not by sight. So when you don't see it and you're walking by faith, know that you know that you know with full conviction that it is done. And while it's not here yet, that you're still enough. That the thing that you desire isn't what makes you enough or not. You're already enough. You were born enough. And you will leave here enough. You are enough. He who started working you will continue that work until the day of Jesus Christ. You are enough. So yes, we can manifest the things that we want in our life. Yes, we can continue to evolve spiritually as better humans, contributing to society and making an impact, using our gifts to be a blessing to others. Yes, we will fall short. We will make mistakes. We won't always think right. We won't always do right. We won't always be right. But in spite of all of that, we are enough. There's nothing external. There's nothing outside of you that's causing you to be enough. You are already enough the way that you are. I really hope that this revelation helps us sink in. This is one of the things that I hear the most when it comes to self-love. Well, I don't love myself. Well, I don't believe it. Well, it just is. It just is. And I know that it's going to be up to you. If it resonates inside your spirit, but you don't believe it in your head, go with your spirit, go with your gut, go with your heart. You can spend some time and be still. Get quiet. Sometimes it's not to go and run this by your friend and run this by your family member and randomly post it on social media so random people can chime in and give their response. Sometimes we need to just be still, go within and listen. Listen to that still small voice that is inside of you. Go within yourself and it will confirm that you are enough. It will confirm that loving yourself should be first and foremost, because loving yourself prepares you to be that best, whatever role you have in that person's life. It prepares you to be the best mother that you need to be, the best spouse that you need to be, the best friend that you can be, the best daughter, son, niece, nephew, husband, does not matter, co-worker, boss. It allows you to be your best self, not just to yourself, but to others. It's kind of like if you just take care of yourself, if the whole world just took care of themselves, there wouldn't be a problem. It made me think about that scripture. You're so involved with the speck that's in your brother's eye, you don't even see that big old plank that's in your eye. Get the plank out your eye. Don't worry about the speck that's in your brother's. That's self-love. Oh my God, I should do an episode on how often self-love is in the Bible. It's not selfish. It's essential. If you enjoyed this and want to keep the conversation going, this episode will also be on the YouTube channel. The link will be in the show notes. There will also be a post on my Instagram about it. That's a good place where you can comment and we can keep the conversation going. I'm interested. Did this help you? You understand why you are enough is not just something to make you feel good, but it's truth. And like we said before, let the truth set you free. So I was reading a book the other day, and when I figure out what book it was, I will definitely add it to the show notes or put the link in the description. But it was talking about how animals just, they just living and existing and minding their own business and having a good time. And when a predator comes and they go into that fight or flight and they start getting stressed and they run and they flee and they panic, just like how we do. Once the threat is gone, once the predator is no longer chasing them, that animal goes back to minding his own business, going back to eating or rolling in the grass or wherever it is was doing. It does not go in his head and process and think, oh man, you know, I should have done this. I could have done that. Oh, I should have went and stood up for myself. No, the moment is gone, never to return in the animal's thought process again. Unfortunately, as humans, we're always thinking. Most of the time, we're in the past, rethinking and revisiting something that happened, recalling the stressful, hurtful, emotional state that we were in, even after it's over. Or not just that, but we can go and imagine a stressful state that's never even happened, that's not going to happen, that that didn't happen, it has not happened yet. And we can imagine the state and we can process that state and feel the emotional impact of that state, of this negative state, as if it has happened. And we conjure all of this up in our thoughts and in our thoughts alone. So if we have the ability to do this in the negative, you have the ability to do this in the positive. You have the ability to do this in the positive. And if you can do this in the positive, you can pull yourself out of any situation that you're in and live a life that you're happy with. Instead of saying someday, one day, any day, whenever God decides to come and deliver me, when He has already said it's finished and He is giving you everything that you need to be delivered, you can do it. You have the mind. Now, I'm here trying to help you get the mindset, but you have the mind. Everything is there. Everything is in you. You have the ability to do it. And that's what makes us the dominant humans. That's what makes us at the top of the charts when it comes to humanity, when it comes to being the top dog animal, because we have the ability to think and to change and to create our reality, and no one else does. So when you realize that you have that ability to change and create your reality, that should help you understand and realize and believe that you are enough, because you have that ability and that skill to create your reality now. You don't have to wait until God bless you. He has already blessed you. You are already blessed. God says that you are the King of Kings. God calls you the Lord of Lords. Jesus said, you see these works that I do, greater works shall you do. Now, are we going to believe the Bible or we not? Are we going to play church or are we going to have a relationship? And if we're going to have a relationship, we need to start understanding our own self-worth. We need to start reflecting. Sometimes we need to sit and listen during our prayer time. We can talk, but then we need to listen. Sit still, meditate, go within. Everything will be revealed to you.
If you would like to sponsor your business on the show, then head over to www.shiranicolesmith.com and send me a direct message. Self-Love Experience just has a new sponsor, bookings.com, where you can get your travel needs taken care of at a discounted price. You can click on the link in the show notes and start planning your next vacation today. If you enjoyed this episode of Self-Love Experience, we would love to hear from you. You can simply leave us a review on any of the podcast streaming forums. To be a part of the Self-Love Experience tribe, go to www.shiranicolesmith.com to sign up. Will you get instant access to this month's free gift, tips, tricks, tools, and more to help you on your self-love journey.